A lot of these kingdom spouses, they are not with the counterfeit because they want to be there. A lot of these counterfeits, they have been doing black magic on these kingdom spouses. Why am I saying this? I had a dream last night. Basically, I was at cookout. I was in this family, but they are not my family. I just found myself in this cookout. I remember I was standing in the middle of these people. There was this man standing on my left side, and also another young man sitting on the bench on my right side, and another female sitting beside him, that young man. But the oldest guy that was standing on my left hand side, so he had this doll and robe and also cotton. So he put the cotton on this doll's head and he was wrapping it. But as he was doing this, he was making it look like a joke. He was just wrapping this on this doll head. The more he was tying the doll head, the more the young man sitting beside this young woman, head was tying. The man was tying the head of the doll. The young man that was sitting beside this young woman, his head was tying. The more he tied this doll's head, the more this man's head was being tied. And I remember that young man, as his head was being tied by this older guy, the more this young man's eyes was getting red, and his head was, the robe was going through his head. It was like this, the robe was going inside and it was swelling here and also here. So him and this other young lady that was sitting beside this young man, they were like making it looks like just a joke. My spirit was telling me something is not right. This is not a joke. I could tell he was going through it. And I couldn't take it anymore. So I grabbed the doll from the man's hand and I threw it away. And then I faced the young man that they were practicing this witchcraft on. As I start removing the robe on his head, and I start hearing the noise on the sky. As I was removing the robe from the man's head, I could hear something, on the sky. It's like a deleting. When you write a text message and you start deleting, that sound. And I look up on the sky. So on the sky, it was a big screen. As this man was rubbing that robe on this doll's head, it was the same time on that screen on the sky, something was written on it. It was not written in English. It was written in some kind of noodles language. But underneath that language that I couldn't understand what language it was, underneath there were English version, the original version was written. The more they were tying, the more this noodle language was writing itself. As I was removing the robe from the man's head, I could hear those noodles language that was written by this man and this woman. It was deleting. The deleting sound. That's what grabbed my attention for me to look up and see what was going on. It was a big screen, by the way. It was deleting itself. It was just deleting itself until when I finally removed all the rope from the man's head, and that noodles language also was all deleted, and it was left with the original written that was there about this man. As soon I untied the man's head, the old man suddenly got angry. That rope that was in his hand, it was not solid rope when he was tying the doll's head, but as soon I untied this man's head, this rope became very solid, and this man started flogging me with this rope. And that's when I woke up, but I did unravel the man's head. And whatever they're writing, so that he will be, doing things in this counterfeit's favor, it was all deleted as I was unraveling his head. And so when I woke up from this, God gave me a revelation about it. He said, you have saved this man from whatever they were doing. Your kingdom spouse is coming to him or her senses. This black magic is broken. The foundation is destroyed. You see that rating that was on the sky? So this woman that was sitting beside him basically took this man, your kingdom spouse, to this sangoma so that they can do some kind of manipulation to his mind. That's why that noodle rating was, rating over what God has already written about your kingdom spouse, the original writing. The original one was in English, but I could not read it. But God put it in my spirit. The one that was underneath was in English. But the noodles one, the one they covered, the original one, it was in some kind of, I don't know, Arabic language. I couldn't read it. I know it was some kind of noodles language, so I couldn't read it. God is saying this counterfeit brought your kingdom spouse to this single man, just to manipulate him, to make him to do what she wanted him to do. And I believe this has been going on for a little while now, but God wants me to tell you that your kingdom spouse is free. Your kingdom spouse is free from that black magic. He's coming to his senses. She's coming to her senses. So keep praying. What you're doing, it is working. It is working. That's why, like, the old man and this woman, they were like making it like a fun. They did not want me to know that what they are doing is actually dangerous to this young man. But God brought me in that area for a reason, because, mind you, I don't know these people. They are not my family, but I just found myself in the, in this area for me to help this man. So keep praying. Your prayers work.